Welcome to episode 13 of Excel Beyond Boundaries with Ben Jacobs, who's a musician and also the owner of BABLY Music, and also a fitness enthusiast with an inspirational story. So welcome. Appreciate you joining me, Ben.
It's great being here.
Thank you. To start out, to jump right in, what inspires you to begin your fitness journey?
You know what really inspired me? Actually, I started farming, I want to say 3 years ago. I was going through so much in my life, and I was trying to find ways to just make a little side money, and that kind of helped me recenter my entire life. It's crazy. I went from thinking, oh, I'm just gonna make some side money, a little side hustle, and I'll be able to continue to fund my music. And then all of a sudden I started thinking, how can I become the best farmer I possibly could be? And I started just going down this like rabbit hole. Like, well, if I'm going to rake, I got to make sure that my back is ripped, and I just started to figure out ways to build a stronger back,
Yeah.
and then a stronger core, and then it was mulching. So like mulching is you take hay and you got to spread 3 feet to the left, 3 feet in front of you, 3 feet to the right, and then I started thinking, okay, I want to carry as many bales of hay as possible. And so I started thinking, this is crazy stuff. Just tell you how my brain works in that moment. And I started thinking, okay, in order to carry bales of hay, like let's say I want to carry 4 bales of hay at one time, I'm just competing with myself.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, how many push-ups can I do?
One thing led to the next?
Yeah. And I went for like, I want to say I went like, I started like at 100, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go for 500.
Whoa.
And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for 1,000. And then I got to like 1,200. I was like, I'm 1,200 a day. And so I was just like carrying bales of hay, and I'm just like, yeah, this is great. And eventually I'm like, all right, what else can I do? How about wall sits? And I was like, all right, if I can go 15 to 20 minute wall sits, like that I mean, I could be really grounded and rooted into the earth, and it could provide like better flexibility when I like stretching. I started doing a lot of stretching, and I would spend probably an hour and a half, 2 hours a day doing all of that.
Whoa.
Just for farming, just to farm.
Man, that's really interesting. So what inspired you was to be functional for your career at the time.
It wasn't even just a career, which is funny. I thought I was just like, hey, I want to be the best farmer. Like I want to really be the best farmer. And I was still doing music, and I kind of put music to the side, and I just thought, I want to be a better farmer and just like really invest my time and myself into that craft. And from that point on, that kind of built, and I honestly thought I was crazy. I was like, what am I doing? People told me, they were like, why are you working out so hard? And some people know this, but I told them it's to be a better farmer. They were like, what?
Man, I love that. I love how you, knowing you for a long time, how you always do your own thing, and you're never influenced by trends or anyone else. You always just follow your heart, yeah. And it's so cool to have seen your journey, not only with fitness, because I remember when we first met, you were much skinnier.
Yes.
And now you're like twice the size.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the progress.
Yeah, I mean, it's I appreciate that. I appreciate that because. And you know this, like you never, like your journey, especially fitness journey, whatever it is, like we don't know where it's going to go. It's just kind of like flow, like it's just like being fluid with the journey and just saying, hey, I mean, just like for you, you probably the same way. You're like, hey, I want to do, I want to break a Guinness World Record, and from that point on, you figure out. Just being fluid. You figure out what you can do, and then you just build from there.
True, and how one thing leads to the next.
Yeah.
That's true. I wanted to ask, what inspired you to get into farming? Because I know you have your music, and that's going amazing. But what inspired you to get into farming?
A bunch of things. I was living really recklessly, and I think primarily, it was during the COVID lockdowns. I just really started to purge myself from the old me, and I just started to like figure out, okay, if I'm going to be the healthiest version of myself, I have to learn how to grow my own food, and I always wanted to learn how to do that.
Wow.
And then also, it was just the whole party lifestyle. It really started to have a massive effect on my life, and I had to. I let go of a lot of people in that process. I told myself, I'm like, look, this lifestyle is going to kill you if you let it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I had to be honest with myself and say, okay, if you're going to be the best version of yourself, you got to do this, and you got to go holistic. You have to attack the issue, and not just say, well, this is side money, but it's just like, all right, learn how to grow your stuff, learn how to grow your food, and learn about the earth, because there's so many lessons the earth or our environment teaches us. Our environment teaches us so many things, whether it's patience, whether it's like just weeding out the bad things, weeding out the things that don't serve us well or serve the environment well, and there's so many different other things. But it's just whether it's humility. Humility is a huge one. So for example, when we mulching was my favorite thing to do because it was the toughest. No one liked mulching.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. So imagine this. So there was like these bales of hay, and sometimes you get a really clean bale of hay, and you just start tossing it around. So as you're tossing like the belt like hay into like a row or a bed, you started thinking, okay, that's really cool. That was clean, and then all of a sudden you stick your hand in, and there's a tiny little thorn, and it wrecks your entire day.
I can imagine grabbing a thorn like that.
Yeah,
man.
Or even like stepping into a tiny anthill, and then like you get bitten up by fire ants, and we're like so massive and we're big, but these little ants, another thing could ruin your entire day.
True.
So between the ants and the thorns, it teaches you humility, and it teaches you that at any moment, the tiniest little creature could really fuck you up.
That's a good point. Wow. I never thought about that. And it's so symbolic. Fitness is so symbolic of life. Mm-hmm. I love those lessons. And then I was going to say, it reminds me how fitness, people don't realize, but when someone gets into fitness and makes it their lifestyle, how it changes everything. It changes their diet. It changes their friend group too.
Yes.
Because a lot of the friends, might want to just party and drink. And then as you cut that down, naturally you don't hang out as much with those people. And
yes.
It changes your whole life. So it's a beautiful thing to see how it transforms your life like that.
Yeah, and you said it like best. It's just it starts with one particular thing. It's just, hey, I'm gonna just go run for one day. Just gonna go run, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna run a little longer, and then when I get home, I'm gonna do some push-ups, or now I'm gonna like drink more water, and it's just like it's one thing every day that changes, and then you start thinking, okay, how can I do this better or that better, and change doesn't happen drastically. It happens like doing one thing at a time, like changing one particular thing at a time, and that's exactly what happened with my fitness journey. I'm like really grateful for it.
Man, no, that's really representative of how powerful fitness is, and I love seeing your journey. Mm-hmm. So random question, but you like doing the mulching the best because it was the most challenging.
Yes.
So did you always have the mentality of just facing difficult things head on, or did you kind of learn that over time?
Yes, I've always had that mentality. It's because also growing up in Chicago, my family, we like didn't have a lot, and so I had to really figure out things. Well, we had to figure out things the hard way. I wasn't born in Sarasota and like didn't have things handed to us, so we had to fight for literally anything, and we had to face challenges head on. And that was one of the ways I would do it. I would just say, like, even when I played basketball, everyone hated the suicides. So I thought,
oh yeah, the sprints.
Yeah, the sprints. Yeah. So you know, so the suicides were absolutely the worst. I had to teach myself to like it, because life throws at you things that you don't like, and you gotta face it with enthusiasm.
It's a great mentality, and I remember when we caught up recently. I had so many questions, and I was like, I'm gonna save these for the interview.
Uh-huh.
So, why did you leave Chicago? And how old were you when you came here?
So, my family, we left Chicago. I was like 11 years old. It was 2001.
Okay.
We moved to North Florida. It was 2 days before 9/11.
Oh wow.
2 days before 9/11. Yeah, it was a wild one. And so we moved to North Florida. My parents had went to theology school, which I thought was a brilliant idea, because like, think about it, Chicago, Florida, Chicago. I mean, some people would say, oh well, Chicago's better. It's like, no, you don't know Chicago.
It's a crazy city.
It is a crazy city, especially like, and don't get me wrong, I have a lot of love for it, but I mean, sunny Florida or like cold Chicago, that's a no-brainer. But my parents, they went to theology school. We lived North Florida for about 3 years, and then we moved to Sarasota in like 2004, 2005. But I've been here ever since. I was like 14, 15. Beautiful experience. Beautiful.
Nice. Good. And I remember, yeah, you hit the ground running with meeting people, because this guy knows everyone. We were at a cafe catching up and discussing this, and every 5 minutes someone would come up and be like, oh, Ben. 5 minutes later, Ben. 5 minutes later, he knows everybody in the city. Man.
No, it's, to be honest with you, like, even, I think it's such a unique city, and it's such a great vibe. The energy here is tremendous. I think there's a lot of people including yourself, you have good intentions, and you want people to be heard and feel as if they're and like feel loved. You want people to feel as if they're loved.
Definitely.
And I mean, for me personally, that's just my thought.
Thank you. No, that I agree. It's a special place for sure. A lot of good people in the city.
Yes.
And it's cool how everybody knows everybody, either directly or through someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how tightly knit the city is. If you could describe your fitness journey in one word, what would it be? Would you say?
Resilient.
Resilient. I like that.
Yeah, and it's because I mean, there's so much to my story, especially through fitness. Like I mentioned the whole farming thing, and that's where it started. And then I was in a really bad car accident, and so that, like, there's like 3 different phases. So the start of it was farming, and then the second was after the car accident.
Okay.
So I was in a really bad car accident in 2001, under December of 2001, I want to say. I was coaching basketball. I got back into coaching. I took like a year, like a 1 year hiatus, because I just didn't like the way the process was going. I coached at ODA, I coached at IMG, I coached at just several different spots.
Wow.
Right?
IMG.
Yeah, I coached there for like a little bit, maybe like half a year, something around there.
Nice.
But I was coaching at 212 Academy with John Mahoney. John Mahoney's a great dude, and he's doing a great job over there. But I was going back and forth from like music gigs in Sarasota to Daytona Beach, and I was like driving back and forth, and so finally one day I had off from music gig. I told myself, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna like kind of like relax in Daytona Beach and just catch up with the team, see how they're doing, catch up with my staff, a trainer and assistant coach, and JV won their first game. It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't a good team. It was, it wasn't a good team. We had some good pieces. And don't get me wrong, some good pieces.
Yeah.
And I love the kids. I always loved like my players. They have a special place in my heart. But it wasn't a good team. So JV finally won the first game, and everyone's excited. And so the day of the accident, I told the team, I'm like, listen, the person that you want to become, that person, you must kill the person that you are to allow the person you want to become to flourish.
I like that.
And they were joking, and they were like, oh, coach, whatever. And so the trainer and my assistant coach, we go back to our hotel room. We're just chatting, and I tell him, hey, I'm gonna go grab some food. At this time, I was listening to a lot of audiobooks, a lot of lectures. Tony Robbins, this is probably one of my favorite lectures. He's talking about how this paraplegic, he gets through the most difficult time in his life because he kept a positive attitude. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is a really interesting lecture. I'm just going to listen to it. All of a sudden, a car on a bridge, only 2 lanes, starts to drive towards me in my lane.
Oh no, head on.
Head on.
Oh man.
And there was like 3 feet to my right, there was a bike lane, but it was angled. I had to angle the car towards the wall of the bridge. And so the car like sideswipes me.
Whoa.
And going pretty fast. So I think what saved my spine, and it's crazy because you never know, like we talked about, you just never know what may happen, and and one thing could prepare you for the next thing. I believe that the push-ups saved my spine from being completely like locked, like not locked, but just completely out of whack.
Oh yeah, for sure. Being fit, for sure.
Absolutely. And so going through that, and then the body was banged up, traumatic brain injury, and I was going through so many different things, especially like right here mentally. I fell into depression. I fell into like so many, like it was just a really dark place. And I had like maybe a few friends. I told them about it. Like I was really open. I was really candid about what I was going through. And they said, Ben, you were doing a lot. Now is the time to kind of like rehabilitate. Find ways to push yourself in a different way. And I had to kind of like adapt to what I was going through. I started writing everything down. Doesn't matter what it was, I had to write it down because the brain, like memory wasn't where it used to be.
Wow.
I had to put a focus on like my nutrition, like a heightened focus on my nutrition. I started juicing. I started doing like cucumber juice, like really start to focus on anti-inflammatory foods.
Nice.
I had to take a break from farming because, like, again, the traumatic brain injury, brain wasn't healed, and there's so many changes I had to go through. And honestly, that began the rebirth of my fitness journey. And because I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still doing my push-ups, but I had to take it. I had to take it from here and really elevate it. And that's when I started doing more of I started doing more cardio, and I had to kind of had to reintegrate myself into like the push-ups and everything else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it was too much on my brain.
Wow.
Like I couldn't like really go at the speed that I was going at, or the pace I was going at. Yeah.
It's more mental even than physical.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just like the brain. I have so much respect for it now. I like so much. I went from thinking, oh, you know what, I'll always have the memory, I always have this and that. But once you go through like a brain injury, it's like you're never the same. And I don't think people understand like how drastic of an effect it has on you. Like, for example, I would have moments where I couldn't remember words. And another thing, like imagine this. So Another example, I would let's say if I would see you at a cafe, okay, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's John, and then like literally 5 minutes later, I would ask myself, wait, who did I see? Who was that again?
Oh, that's scary.
That is really scary.
Man.
I couldn't remember like basic lettuces that I would see on the farm.
Yeah.
Like basic things. So I had to like retrain my brain in so many different ways and
Wow.
and take so many different. I had to take so many different, do so many different exercises. Reading was difficult. Memorizing things was like obviously really difficult.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I had to just write everything down. It was quite the experience, to be honest with you. But I had to channel all of that into something.
Oh, yes.
And so I started working out. With Josh Wilson at the Vault. He's had like a tremendous impact on like the rebirth of my fitness journey.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we started lifting weights, and he and I, we started talking about business, we started talking about family, like all types of different things. And he's just like, he's such a great dude. And the people there, like another guy, Smiley, like he's the barber there. We started talking about a bunch of things as well, and it's kind of put me in a really good place. I've had really good friends who've helped me out.
The community.
Absolutely, throughout the process. And this fitness, like the rebirth of my fitness journey, isn't me just saying, oh, there's like shirtless pics on like on Instagram. I mean, that's branding, but
Just representative.
Absolutely, but it really helps me. I need it. I really do need it.
Wow, that was very deep and very inspiring. How you didn't crumble, you didn't let it overwhelm you, and that I can't imagine many other challenges that compare to that, because you had to mentally, you had to literally start over.
Yeah.
And physically, and learn how to integrate and start over.
Yeah.
Wow, so you really did truly have a rebirth.
Yeah,
in a sense. Man.
yeah. I didn't work out for 2-3 months.
Wow.
I couldn't work out for 2-3 months. I'll never forget New Year's Eve, 2021, going into 2022. It was after the accident. For the first time, I was like number one, I was like way deep in my own head. I was just like, I was overanalyzing everything in my life, and I was so depressed and so angry and bitter and frustrated with so much. I called an Uber as the countdown was going on, because I couldn't be around people. It was a really dark time.
Wow.
And I didn't work out, like I said, for 2 to 3 months. And I was trying to figure things out, and I had to go back to that lecture that I listened to, like right before that accident. Like literally, it was as Tony Robbins is talking about this paraplegic, that accident was going on. It was about to happen.
Man.
And so I thought about it. I was like, wait, I'm gonna listen to that lecture again.
So you listened to that when the accident happened?
Yes, when the accident happened.
Wow.
And then I had to revisit it to remotivate myself. And it was just, this guy was a paraplegic. He married the right woman who helped him stay in the positive mindset, keep that positive mindset. And he overcame all of the obstacles because he was in a positive mindset. He had a positive attitude.
That's amazing.
And so I had to revisit that, and I had to tell myself the same exact thing. I had to tell myself, I'm not a victim. I'm going to overcome this, and there's ways to overcome it. And it's to be active. It's to put fitness and my mental well-being first, regardless of what it is. I have to work out when I have to work out. And then I really started to figure other things out. I'm like, all right, what is it do I want to accomplish out of this? Yes, I want to inspire. Yes, I want to be the best version of myself. Yes, I want to be the best for my daughter. I want to be the best for the community, for my friends. But mentally, how can I make myself better every day? Just one thing, just figuring out that one thing I can make myself better every day, and it's just keeping that positive attitude, keeping that positive mindset.
Man, thank you for sharing all of that. Really, that was so inspiring, and that's gonna provide so much value to so many people. Wow, that's beautiful. There's so much to unpack there. So ultimately, what would you say is your fundamental why for working out? Right now, it might be the same as it was when you started, or it might have evolved. But what is your fundamental why for working out, would you say?
My fundamental why, at first it was for the ladies. And then it was just to be a farmer, like the best farmer I could possibly be. Now it's just for my mental health. It's literally for my mental health. And I see things. There was one quote. I'm probably going to butcher it, but I'll just paraphrase. It would be a shame for a young man to live his entire life without knowing his full capabilities, the full capabilities of his body, and just testing the boundaries. I think that's just brilliant, which is why I really admire what you do as well, like the dead hang, that world record. Man, that's dope. That's really awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like not many people have the thought process to challenge themselves that way, and like every day, like don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna do David Goggins shit. And that's another different level.
That's on a different level, yeah.
But I'm gonna find different things to challenge myself. True. And I'm not going to say no. I'm not gonna turn myself into a victim. If I find, like for example, if there's something, let's say jiu-jitsu, I started doing that. And if there's something that I find interesting, I'm going to give that a try.
I like that. It's a great mentality. Yeah, and I was going to say, it's a lot of people don't realize how holistic fitness is, and how to become the best version of themselves, they ultimately have to work out for the energy, the mental clarity. And so your story is so inspirational for so many reasons, because it's like you recognize the functionality of it, you want it to be the best. Then you recognized how it potentially saved your body, like saved your life.
Yes.
And then and it's beautiful how it's an evolution. The fitness journey is like an evolution where there's always that fundamental why.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you know what? And it's like I had no idea that it was going to have that much of an impact on me and on my. It's crazy. So walking out of that accident, I had to grab some stuff from my car. It was in a tow lot in Daytona Beach, and they were telling me, "Wow, we had like even the cops when at the scene of the accident, because I had to kind of there's my car, passenger side. I couldn't get out of the driver's side. Obviously, it was sideswiped, and there was a wall of the bridge, and I had to like get out from the passenger side, like along the wall." And the cop told my assistant coach, the trainer, he's like, I don't know how he's even walking out of that. It was crazy.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it was really intense. But how could I have known that would have been like my fit, like just trying to be a good farmer. It allowed me to be able to walk out of that.
That's so true. It makes you your bones denser, working out, your connective tissue stronger, your joints stronger, your body more resilient. And so I guarantee, like you said, huge difference. Yeah, that could have been, if you were sedentary and it didn't work out, you could be permanently, unable to.
Exactly.
Man.
And it's I don't think about it that much, but it's just like maybe a few times I think about the alternatives, and the PTSD still gets me, but I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful that just something as little as doing push-ups every day. Just something that's like really little.
That's amazing. And it also sounds like you have the mentality where you're grateful for the ability to exercise, because a lot of people take workouts for granted.
Yes.
A lot of people are like, I don't want to do this workout, which, we've all been there. So I'm not hating on anyone with that mentality, but it's beautiful that you've realized that it's a privilege to be able to work out and get those benefits. That's amazing. What's one piece of advice you could give someone who's just starting on their fitness journey? What would you say?
One day at a time. One day at a time. Everything has a maturation process. Don't try to force it. Be fluid, and don't be rigid in the way you see your returns or your gains. It's not going to happen all at once, and you got to be okay with that. Not going to happen after a month. May not happen after 90 days. But be diligent, be consistent, and just enjoy the process.
That was good. Very well said. Thank you. What would you say, this random question, but what would you say is the most thing you're most proud of, what you're most proud of along your fitness journey? Would it be overcoming everything, from everything life threw at you, or is there a particular thing you're most proud of?
The one thing I can say is I did 1,200 push-ups a day for an entire year.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I look back at that and I'm just like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah, actually, how many is that, like an hour? That's crazy.
I was doing, it would take me about 40, like it depends. Like it would go between 45 minutes to 2 hours, because I would integrate like other things into the workout too.
Wow.
So like, for example, if I'm doing planks, or if I'm like whatever it was at the time, I would integrate like in between sets. So I would do like push-ups and then planks, or push-ups and then wall sits, whatever it was. It was just something like intense. I had to do something intense.
That's crazy. That number of push-ups every day, just the discipline to stick with that every single day. Wow.
It hurt. It was, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there were some days I was thinking, do I have to do this?
Man.
and I would push myself, and I would say, no, you're in the club now. You gotta do it.
You're in the club now.
You gotta do it. Like there's no I couldn't talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Because I had a log, and I would keep track of it. It's like every day I would do it. And then I'm like, every week, any week that I didn't do it, I'm like, well, or not week, any day that I didn't do it, like within that week, I had to make up that amount.
Wow.
So and that's how I got to 1,200. So there was like times where I only had time to do like 800 one day. And then I would say,
only 800 one day?
And then I would say, all right, well, you got to make that number up like the next day. So the next day I would do like 1,100.
Man.
And I was like, fuck it, I'll just do 1,200. Let's make it that.
It's funny, you were saying, David Goggins, like that's on a different level, but that is David Goggins type stuff right there. That's what he would do,
No, David Goggins is, he's the pinnacle, man. That guy's, he's next level. I don't want to rival that.
It's funny. I remember watching Joe Rogan, and he was talking about David Goggins and how David Goggins told him that he did climb Mount Everest on a stair stepper. Like insane to just be on that little not the one for your legs, but the one where you like crawl. Insane. So yeah, that is interesting. That mentality for sure.
No, that's different. That's different. But that's the mindset. It all stems from just saying to yourself, okay, again, you're not a victim. You got like, what is it do you want to accomplish?
True.
And once you set your mind to it, you cannot talk yourself out of it. That's the biggest thing. You cannot talk yourself out of it. I mean, we have like daily duties in life. Like for example, like if you got to work. Like at 11 o'clock and you don't have time to work out, like so like we have things. We're adults. We have that type of stuff, but like understanding that after work you got to get to it.
Holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
I like that. The Boss Mom mug. Check out the mug.
Boss Mom.
I asked this man, I was like, which mug do you want? You want Boss Mom? Do you want, we have all these mugs. My girlfriend loves mugs. So we have like 30 mugs. And I respect it. He chose Boss Mom. So
you know what's funny? I think deep down you knew I was going to pick Boss Mom.
I did. I was like, let me ask him, because you have such a good sense of humor. I was like, I think he might say yes. That's funny. Man, jumping around a little bit, one more deep question for now.
That's it.
How has fitness impacted, it's kind of what we talked about before, but how has fitness impacted your mental health and overall well-being?
So it allows me to think through things very clearly. It allows me to rationalize what's going on in my life, to be silent, right? One of my favorite quotes is, silence is the language of God. Wow. And also another one is like, silence is a very rare discipline. And being able to be silent and think things through, I think, and like with no noise, it's just you and you. And I mean, spirituality is a big thing in my life. So I believe I believe there is a God. All right. So I know everyone's different. That's fine. I believe there is a God.
Definitely.
So it allows me to internally speak with God and about different issues and showing an attitude of gratitude. That's huge for me. It's just like, I'm here. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have this moment, just to test the boundaries of my body. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for like my life. And I look at it I start from like a central point, and then I look at it as a whole. But it affects my mental health because it allows me to get out of any depression, just kind of snap out of it.
Oh yeah.
Because it gives me like good vibes, good energy. It gives me good energy, and it allows me to think things through clearly, very clearly.
That makes sense, and that was a very deep answer. That was very. I agree. The spirituality side is so important.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about you. Is I have to say, thinking back, is it shines through with your interactions because you're just so grateful and happy and just genuine, and it just shines through every interaction. Like people feel that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it's powerful to see that that you being grateful. It all starts with that. That's amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're not grateful for things, it's just I mean, I'll put it this way: there's people that wish they had our capabilities, our bodies, our entitlements. Or just being able to be where we are, like to live in Sarasota, to be able to see the beaches, to be able to have a home, to be able to live in the U.S. I mean, despite what you may think of the country, like there's people who live in really, really bad countries or really, really bad neighborhoods.
That's true.
But like, it's just being able to be here, where we are. It doesn't matter what it is. We should be grateful.
Absolutely, man. Amazing answers. Would you say fitness has helped you with your creativity, with your music, and your company? Has that come together in any sort of ways?
Yes, yes. It's allowed me to think of things outside of just music. It allowed me to kind of rebrand myself. And not think of myself just as a musician. I mean, music is a gift that I've been given, but it's not the end all be all. There's so many different other things. It's like the story of the man with many talents, right? When God says, "Hey, I'm give you one talent," and he gave another guy, was it 5 talents, and the other guy like 3 talents, and the one with 1 talent was the guy who just said, "Hey, I'm just going to continue to like make the best of what I have." I think Tom Brady's story is like it's so cool. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when he went to the University of Michigan, he's talking to his trainer at the time. He's like, nah, I'm not getting enough reps. And his trainer says, well, how many reps do you have? He's like, I'm getting 2 reps. And so his trainer says, well, make the best of those 2 reps. All right, perfect those 2 reps. And then he started getting more reps and then more. And next thing you know, he's a starter of the University of Michigan. Wow. So it's just like taking like what little that you may have at the moment and just expanding it, grow it.
I like that. I should be taking notes, seriously. So much value in this. That's amazing. I like that. I never heard his story. I didn't know that.
It's amazing. I mean, he was what was it? He was like a 4th, 5th quarterback on the depth chart.
Yes,
like 4th or 5th on the depth chart, and he didn't get many opportunities. So I love those stories. I love the stories where it's just like it's the underdog. No one expects him to get where he needs to go, but he finds a way. So musically, going back to that question. So the way it allows me to be better at music, it allows me to think of different ways to not only rebrand myself, it allows me to figure out how I could be better for my my team, and also it allows me to be disciplined when it comes to writing, when it comes to performing, and yeah, all that good stuff.
How it translates into everything.
Absolutely,
so cool.
It always does. Because like you can't just do one thing just okay and everything else like great. It's like if you do one thing great, everything else is going to feel the same effect because we're creatures of habit.
That's true. Very true. Huh. Are you going into the training section? Are you currently training for anything in particular? Any specific goals or?
No, just me versus me.
I like that. Okay.
Me versus me.
And do you have a preferred training style? Is it more like functional, or what's your favorite way to train? Would you say?
A little bit of both, but functional. I'm functional. Yeah.
I've seen some of your videos, like the sled pushes and sled pulls. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Josh got me on that.
Good. I've heard great things.
Yeah.
I need to follow up with him and check out the gym.
Yeah, you should. I'll definitely. I can help make that connection, man. Josh is a great dude.
Awesome. Great dude. I'll definitely have to join you one of these days. What is your go-to? This is going to be interesting since you're so musically gifted. What's your go-to song or playlist when you need to power through a tough workout?
Oh, it's deep house.
Really?
Deep house.
Really? So something with a crazy beat, like a solid beat?
Yeah, like it's got to be. It's like Afro beat or it's deep house. Yeah, it's just like whether it's I think it's Odessa.
Okay, yeah.
That Baker Mat, Slash, and Camel Fat.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's a bunch of weird names, but yeah, I listen to deep house quite a bit. Like that's my jam.
Almost kind of lets you get in like a trance in a sense.
Yeah. It gets me going, man. It gets me going.
I'm gonna check that out. If you could do one exercise for the rest of your life, what would it be? And this is interesting because you liked the challenging stuff.
Yes.
You liked the mulching the best with farming. Yeah. So I'm curious to hear this.
So it would be between push-ups and jump rope.
Wow, I did not expect that.
Yeah, push-ups and jump rope. I don't know. I like pull-ups too, but push-ups and jump rope. Jump rope. I don't know. It's just I love the cardio. I love the coordination, and it just mentally it gets me going.
So tough ones. The jumping rope, that's rough. I've never heard anyone say that.
Yeah. How about you? Which one would you choose?
Honestly, I love single arm dumbbell row, but I love a variation called a croc row, a KROC, where it's kind of like full body. And I love that movement because it's so functional. And you get like the anti-rotation, you get the pull. It's like almost like full body in a sense.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yeah, nice. My rows, my pulls.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I love hearing how everybody has a different preference, different favorite exercise.
Yep. Yeah. No, absolutely.
What is a way you reward yourself after a big fitness milestone? You have like a specific like dessert or something, or meal that you like?
12-pack of donuts. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I was gonna say, really?
You're like, what?
Yeah.
No, let's see. I would just get like a 12-ounce juice.
Oh, okay, healthy.
Yeah, healthy.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I just got to the point where I can drink grapefruit juice and it tastes sweet.
Whoa, that's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, grapefruit juice. Everyone's like, what?
Yeah, man, you got used to it. So it's to such a degree that it tastes sweet.
Yeah, it tastes sweet, man. And I know it's bitter. It's like, what are you doing?
That's funny. Okay, so you keep it pretty healthy then.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I try.
That actually segues into the diet section. Any specific diets that you follow, or are you pretty just generally balanced?
Generally, I try to stay away from carbs most times. I like to try different things. I went vegan for a while, like raw food vegan as well. I went pescatarian, no dairy, no egg. I'm doing keto right now.
Oh,
I like that.
you really feel good?
I mean, when you go through ketosis, I mean, you don't really feel. Obviously, you know that you're like,
sure, yeah,
yeah. But I mean, I like to say I'm pretty balanced these days.
That's good. Yeah, it's hard to sustain extreme diets, I feel, in my opinion.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite cheat meal though? If you're gonna like go all out, like cheesecake or.
You're trying to pin me down on like a junk food.
So you don't really like sweets too much or anything like that?
I used to. Well, actually, all right. Those little vegan cookies. I like vegan cookies.
Okay.
So if I would say this, if I'm having a bad day, I'll grab like one of those vegan cookies. It just makes me happy.
Huh.
And it gets me in a positive mood, and then I snap out of it.
Nice. So something sweet, but I mean still healthy though.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's very good. Like I definitely take it a little further than that. Yeah. Do you have any? Or actually, jumping in the last section, lifestyle section.
Yes.
What is the coolest gym you've ever been to, or your favorite gym you've ever been to?
The Vault.
The feeling.
That's a no-brainer.
The Vault.
That's a no-brainer.
Representing the Vaults.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And are you a morning person or afternoon person with workouts?
I'm a morning person.
Yeah, me too.
You knock it out. You feel better throughout the day, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. End of the day, of course, we've all been there where we need to do it, but I don't know how people do it consistently. That's, in my opinion, that's tough. Yeah. End of the day. But at least they're getting it in.
No, absolutely.
Do you have any quirky or weird fitness habits that others find surprising? I feel like you do.
Yeah, I'm pretty weird.
No, I don't mean it in that way. I'm
pretty weird. I'll admit that.
I mean how you do your own thing. Because I'm similar in that sense, so I know you got some things.
Yeah, let's see. Besides like the absurd number of like reps I have to do of something, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
Honestly.
Nothing too crazy off the top of your head?
Yeah, and yeah, I would say nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. You got me.
But yeah, if you think of something, just let me know. I'm curious. Do you, my second to last question, I'm jumping around a little bit. What habits have you built to support both your fitness and lifestyle goals? So kind of, I know we've touched on this before, but if you have specific habits you built, like reading every day, of course your exercise habits, what would you say? What core habits you built?
There's some days where I'm not feeling motivated. I put on an audiobook or a lecture. It's motivational, and it reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it's not just fitness, it's through life. And anything that I do, I want to be great at it. Doesn't matter what it is, I want to be great. Goes back to the farming. I wanted to be the best farmer I could be. Playing music, when I started that, I was like, I want to be the best I could be with music. Singing, I want to be the best I could do with that. And so, I want to be great at everything that I do. If it's mopping the fucking floor, I'm going to be great at mopping the floor.
It's amazing. Great mentality. We all need to adopt that mentality. Actually, two more questions. A fun one is, if you could work out with anyone in history, living or in the past, any time, who would it be?
My boy John Simos.
Damn, I'm honored, man. We got to get a workout in.
We got it.
Wow.
Making dreams come true.
I appreciate that. Wow. No, I'm honored, really. Did not expect that answer. We got to work out now. Then my last question is, final say, if you want to share anything to the audience, anything you feel compelled to share. It doesn't have to be necessarily fitness related since it's holistic. Whatever message you want to share. Oh, and as a follow-up, if you want to speak a little bit about your brand and where everyone can find you.
Yes, you can find me babblemusic.com. It's not Baby L, it's Babble, BABYL music.com. And I have an amazing team. I have the best people. Alex here, obviously, videographer. He always does great work. My buddies from City Limit Cinema, James Ford, Tom Cafferty, John Mueller. Those guys are awesome. Carrie Hawk, she helps with graphic design, and my social media people. They're awesome. I love them. They do a great job as well. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my team. I have a lot of great people around me. Grateful for you for having me.
Thank you.
And I would say the message I would want to tell everyone is to elevate. Elevate, and it's not just for yourself. When you elevate yourself, everyone around you, they think, how can I be better? And it's what do they say? A rising tide lifts all ships.
I like that.
So being able to elevate yourself, it's going to cause everyone else to see the greatness in themselves, and let your light shine bright. Be fucking weird. Let it go. Like embrace your abnormalities. Embrace who you think. Well, embrace yourself for who you are.
I like that. Man, amazing. Amazing episode. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Seriously.
you, brother.
Thank you. That is it for episode 13.